This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, students. Last class, I explained the at-rest horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. We discussed three conditions in that at-rest horizontal earth pressure. One is the backfill is in partially saturated condition. Second one is the water table is at the top of the backfill. Third condition, the water table is at a depth D from the top of the backfill. For those three conditions, we discuss the at-rest horizontal earth pressure distribution on the backside of retaining wall. With that, the at-rest horizontal earth pressure is completed. Next, in this earth retaining structures, we have another two earth pressures acting on the retaining wall. In that, the first one is active horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. In the previous classes, we discussed when the retaining wall is in rest condition, then the backfill applies at rest horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall. Sometimes the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. When the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill applies the another horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall, that is called active horizontal earth pressure. To find out that active horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall, we have an important theory that is called Rankins earth pressure theory. By using this Rankins earth pressure theory, we can find out the magnitude of active horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. So, in the today's class, I am going to discuss with you what is this Rankins earth pressure theory. According to Rankins earth pressure theory, what is the equation to find out the active horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall? So, coming to this Rankins earth pressure theory. Before going to discuss this Rankins earth pressure theory, we know that according to Coulomb's equation, the shear strength of soil according to Coulomb's equation is given by. So please everyone remember, in the stability analysis of soil slopes, I explained the Coulomb equation to find out the shear strength of soil. So this is the Coulomb-Moore equation. Actually, this equation was proposed by Coulomb and Moore. So we call this as the Coulomb-Morse equation. According to the Coulomb-Morse equation, the shear strength of soil is given by S is equal to or tau is equal to, both are same. S is equal to or tau is equal to C plus sigma tan phi. So this is the Coulomb-Moore equation to find out the shear strength of soil. So the shear strength S or tau is equal to C plus sigma tan phi. C is the cohesion of soil, sigma is the normal stress acting on the soil, phi is the angle of shearing resistance of soil. So this is the equation proposed by Coulomb and Moore to find out the shear strength of soil. According to Coulomb-Morse equation, the shear strength of soil S is equal to or tau is equal to C plus sigma tan phi. In terms of effective stresses, according to Terzaghi, you can also apply the effective stresses in this Morse-Coulomb equation. According to the Terzaghi's consideration, the shear strength S is equal to or tau is equal to C dash plus sigma dash into tan phi dash. That is this equation in terms of the effective stresses. So the Coulomb-Moore equation for the shear strength of soil is S is equal to tau is equal to C plus sigma tan phi. C is called cohesion of soil, sigma is the normal stress acting in the soil, phi is the angle of shearing resistance of soil. We know that we have two types of soils basically, cohesionless soil and cohesive soil. In cohesionless soil, the cohesion C is equal to 0. So in this equation, if the cohesion C is 0 in cohesionless soil, this equation becomes as S is equal to or tau is equal to only sigma tan phi. So in the cohesionless soils, if the soil is a cohesionless soil, in that cohesionless soil the cohesion C is equal to 0. So in the cohesionless soil, the Coulomb-Morse equation is given by S is equal to or the shear stress tau is equal to sigma tan phi. Now check this equation. According to Coulomb-Morse equation, in cohesionless soils, the shear strength of soil is tau is equal to sigma tan phi. Sigma is the normal stress, tau is the shear stress in the soil, phi is the angle of shearing resistance of soil. Please everyone focus this equation. I consider the shear stress tau on y-axis. I am going to prepare the graph by using this equation. By using this equation, I am going to prepare the graph by taking this normal stress sigma on x-axis. Sigma is the normal stress in the soil. Take that sigma in the x-axis, the shear stress tau in the y-axis. Then check this equation. Shear stress tau is taken on y-axis. Normal stress sigma is taken on x-axis. So this equation is y is equal to mx form. M is tan phi. So this equation, we can prepare the graph by using this equation. In that graph, take this shear stress tau on y-axis, normal stress sigma on x-axis. Then this equation is y is equal to mx form. M is tan phi. So graphically, we can represent this equation, that is more Coulomb-Morse equation for cohesionless soil. So graphically, if I prepare this equation in the xy system, I will get the graph like this. So this is the graph obtained from the Coulomb-Morse equation for cohesionless soils. S is equal to tau is equal to sigma tan phi. Here normal stress is taken on x-axis, shear stress is taken on y-axis. According to this equation, the graph is a straight line passing through horizon, because this equation is y is equal to mx form. Y is shear stress tau, x is normal stress sigma, m is tan phi dash. Since this equation is y is equal to mx form, this equation is a straight line passing through horizon. That straight line is called the failure envelope of the cohesionless soils. We got this straight line in the xy coordinate system. X-axis normal stress sigma, y-axis shear stress tau. The equation is tau is equal to sigma tan phi. This equation is in the form of y is equal to mx form. Y is equal to mx is a straight line passing through horizon. So in the cohesionless soils, this equation is a straight line passing through horizon with x-axis. This straight line makes the angle phi dash. We call this straight line for cohesionless soils as the failure envelope. If the stresses in the cohesionless soils below the structure, that structure may be dam, that structure may be bridge, that structure may be building. Below the structure, if the stresses in cohesionless soils is below this envelope, if the stresses in the cohesionless soils is below the envelope in this portion, the cohesionless soil is safe. If the stresses in the cohesionless soils are such that if the stresses falling on this failure envelope, the cohesionless soil is in the failure condition. So by using this failure envelope of the cohesionless soils, we can find out whether that cohesionless soil below the structure is in the safe condition or in the failure condition. For example, if I take a point here in this portion, that point is having in this portion, that point is in the xy plane, that point is having the normal stress and also shear stress, but that point is below the failure envelope. So at that point, the cohesionless soil is safe. For example, if the stresses in the cohesionless soils are such that if the point is lying on the failure envelope, then the cohesionless soil is in the failure condition. So by using more Coulomb equation, the shear strength of soil is S is equal to C plus sigma tan phi. In the cohesionless soils, C is 0. So the shear strength of the soil S is equal to sigma tan phi. I can draw the graph by using that equation. In that, the normal stress is taken on the x-axis. This is the normal stress in the soil on x-axis. This is the shear stress in the cohesionless soil in the y-axis. Then, according to equation, tau is equal to sigma tan phi, I will get a straight line passing through origin. This straight line is called the failure envelope of the cohesionless soils. If the stress in the cohesionless soil below the structure is below this failure envelope, then that soil is the safe soil. If the stress in the cohesionless soil below the structure is lying on the failure envelope, if the stresses in the cohesionless soil is on the failure envelope, then that soil is in the failure condition. So this is called the failure envelope of the cohesionless soil according to Mohr-Coulomb equation. Now with this, coming to the Rankin's earth pressure theory. Rankin's earth pressure theory is useful to find out the active horizontal earth pressure in cohesionless soils. So actually, in the year 1857, the person Rankin, he is a researcher in geotechnical engineering, great man. In the year 1857, Rankin developed his theory to find out the horizontal earth pressure applied by the backfill on the retaining walls. In the year 1857, Rankin proposed his theory when the backfill is a cohesionless soil. So in the year 1857, Rankin proposed his lateral earth pressure theory when the backfill is a dry backfill and the backfill is a cohesionless soils. But later on, the Rankin theory was modified by Russell in 1910 and Bell in 1915 to apply this Rankin's theory for cohesive soils also. So actually, Rankin theory for the horizontal earth pressure is proposed in the year 1857 when the backfill is a dry backfill and the backfill is a cohesionless soil. Later on, the Rankin theory was updated, modified by Russell in 1910 and Bell in 1915, so that the Rankin earth pressure theory is also applicable to cohesive soils. So what is this Rankin's earth pressure theory? How can we find out the active horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall by using this Rankin's theory? Before going to discuss that, first we will discuss the assumptions made in the Rankin's theory. So in the Rankin's theory, to prepare the equation for active horizontal earth pressure from the backfill, Rankin's theory is having some assumptions. The first assumption in the Rankin's theory, earth pressure theory. In the Rankin's earth pressure theory, the first assumption is the soil, that is backfill soil. The soil mass is homogeneous and semi-infinite. That is first assumption. Second assumption, the soil, that is backfill soil. The soil is dry soil and oceanless soil. Third assumption, the ground surface is a plane surface. That is the top of the backfill. The top of the backfill is a plane surface. That top of the backfill may be either horizontal or inclined. So you can apply this Rankin's theory when the top of the backfill is either horizontal and also inclined. Then the fourth assumption, the back of the retaining wall. So the back of the retaining wall in contact with the backfill is smooth and vertical. So Rankin's earth pressure theory assumes the back of the retaining wall is smooth and it is vertical, and that back of the retaining wall is in contact with the backfill soil. And the fifth assumption is the soil element. In the Rankin's theory, we consider the soil element that we will discuss later. In the Rankin's theory, we assume that soil element is in plastic equilibrium condition. Plastic equilibrium condition means the soil element is on the edge of failure. Whereas in the at rest condition, in the at rest horizontal earth pressure, we consider the soil element is in elastic equilibrium condition. Whereas in the active condition and also in the passive condition, we consider the soil element in the backfill is in the plastic equilibrium condition, that is on the edge of failure. So these are the assumptions made in the Rankins earth pressure theory. The Rankins earth pressure theory is useful to find out the active horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall and also the passive horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. You can apply this Rankins earth pressure theory both for the active earth pressure and also for the passive earth pressure. First, we will discuss the Rankins earth pressure theory for the active earth pressure. Then we will discuss for the passive earth pressure. So first, we are going to discuss the Rankins earth pressure theory for the active earth pressure. So please everyone look this title carefully. Rankins active earth pressure theory. So we are going to discuss how to find out the active horizontal earth pressure acting on the retaining wall from the backfill. We know that the retaining wall is in active condition when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. Already in the previous classes, I discussed that with you. When the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, that is called active condition of retaining wall. In that active condition, when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill subjected to horizontal stretching, that is expansion. When the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill subjected to horizontal stretching. Due to that horizontal stretching, some portion of the backfill subjected to failure. So in the active condition, there is a failure in the backfill due to horizontal stretching of the backfill when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. That is called active condition. In that active condition, the backfill applies horizontal earth pressure on the retaining wall, that is called active horizontal earth pressure. By using this Rankins theory, we can calculate that horizontal active earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. Coming to this derivation of horizontal active earth pressure from this Rankins theory. So in the Rankins, please follow this carefully. In the Rankins active horizontal earth pressure, first we consider the retaining wall. So check this diagram please. First we consider the retaining wall supporting the backfill. Dear students, is this picture visible on your cell phones? Please give me the response. Is this picture visible on your cell phones? Okay, thank you. Now coming to the Rankins active earth pressure theory. Very, very important. So please follow this carefully. I am going to explain the Rankins active earth pressure theory to find out the active earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. In that Rankins active earth pressure theory, first we consider the retaining wall. Let this retaining wall is of height h. We know that in the Rankins earth pressure theory, fourth assumption is the retaining wall back is vertical and smooth. So here the back of the retaining wall is vertical, it is smooth in surface. So this retaining wall is supporting the backfill. Height of the retaining wall is h. Consider this backfill is a oceanless soil because Rankins theory assumes the backfill as a oceanless soil. So we consider that backfill is a oceanless dry soil. Take gamma is the bulk unit weight of that soil. Gamma is the bulk unit weight. In this Rankins active earth pressure, first I consider the soil element in the backfill. At a depth z from this top of the backfill, I consider this soil element. We know that the soil element subjected to two stresses. In the backfill, the soil element is subjected to two stresses. One is the vertical stress, next one is the horizontal stress. Two stresses are acting on the soil element. The vertical normal stress, horizontal normal stress. No other stress is acting on this element. Neglect the z-axis. No other stress acting on the soil element. So check this sigma V. It is the vertical normal stress. Sigma H, horizontal normal stress. No shear stress acting on the side element. Since there is no shear stress acting on the side element, sigma V is the principal stress. Sigma H is also principal stress. Because in this side element, there is no shear stress acting. So in the diagram, sigma V is the vertical principal stress acting on the side element. Sigma H is the horizontal principal stress acting on the side element. We know that sigma V, vertical stress, is equal to gamma into Z. The vertical stress acting on the side element sigma V is equal to gamma into Z. First consider this side element is in the rest condition. First consider the retaining wall is in rest condition. The backfill is also in rest condition. The side element is also in rest condition. When the side element is in rest condition, this horizontal stress sigma H is the at rest horizontal stress. Since the side element is in rest condition, sigma H is the at rest horizontal earth pressure. We discussed in the previous classes, in the at rest condition, sigma H is equal to K naught into sigma V. In the at rest condition, sigma H is equal to K naught. K naught is the coefficient of at rest earth pressure. Sigma H is equal to K naught into sigma V. So sigma V is gamma into Z. So sigma H is equal to K naught into gamma into Z. So please follow the Rankins active earth pressure theory. In the Rankins active earth pressure theory, we consider the retaining wall of height H. The retaining wall is supporting the backfill. The backfill is a oceanless soil and it is a dry condition. Take gamma is the bulk unit weight of that soil. Consider the soil element in the backfill at a depth z from the top of the backfill. Initially, assume this backfill is in the rest condition. The retaining wall is in rest condition. The backfill is also in rest condition. Assume initially. Then this side element is subjected to two stresses. Vertical stress sigma V, horizontal stress sigma H. Sigma V is the vertical normal stress acting on the side element. Sigma H is the horizontal normal stress acting on the side element. Since no shear stress acting on the side element, sigma V, sigma H are the principal stresses. Sigma V is equal to gamma into Z. Since the element is in rest condition, sigma H is the at rest horizontal earth pressure. So sigma H is equal to K naught into sigma V. Sigma V is gamma into Z. So sigma H is equal to K naught into gamma into Z. Dear students, in second BTech second semester, you might have studied MOM2 or SM2. In that SM2, you might have studied the Morse stress circle. Definitely in the second year, second semester, you might have studied that Morse circle. The Morse circle can be drawn if the elastic body is subjected to two principal stresses, sigma 1 and sigma 2. Please remember that Morse stress circle. The Morse stress circle is drawn when the elastic body is subjected to two principal stresses, sigma 1 and sigma 3. Remember that Morse stress circle because for this soil element, by taking this sigma V and sigma H, sigma V is the major principal stress, sigma H is the minor principal stress. Sigma V is sigma 1, sigma H is sigma 3. For this side element, By using the stresses sigma V and sigma H, we are preparing the Morse stress circle. So like this. This first one, please focus on this first one. This first circle is the Morse stress circle for this soil element. We consider the soil element A in the backfill at a depth Z from the top of the backfill. The soil element A subjected to two principal stresses sigma V, sigma H. No shear stress acting on the soil element. So sigma V is the major principal stress sigma 1, sigma H is the minor principal stress sigma 3. For these two principal stresses, I prepare this Morse stress circle 1. So in this Morse stress circle, this is horizon. On the Morse stress circle along the x-axis, we consider the normal stress sigma. On the y-axis, we consider the shear stress tau. Remember that Morse stress circle in strength of materials 2 or mechanics of materials 2. Definitely, you might have studied that Morse stress circle in that second year, second BTech. So for this soil element A, in the Rankine's earth pressure theory, for this soil element A, we consider this soil element is in rest condition. Rest condition is equilibrium condition, elastic equilibrium condition. Since this soil element is in rest condition, this soil element is subjected to two principal stresses sigma V, sigma H. Sigma V is the major principal stress, that is point B on this x-axis from horizon up to this point B. The vertical stress is sigma V. This length OB is the vertical stress on this soil element. Then from this horizon up to this point A, this is the horizontal principal stress sigma H on the soil element. Sigma H is equal to K naught into sigma V. So this circle, Morse stress circle, first Morse stress circle, this stress circle is for this soil element A when the element is in rest condition. So please follow this Rankine's active earth pressure theory. First, in the Rankine's active earth pressure theory, we assume the retaining wall is in rest condition. When the retaining wall is in rest condition, the backfill is also in rest condition. We consider the soil element A in the backfill. The soil element A is also in rest condition. Two stresses are acting on the soil element. Vertical stress sigma V, horizontal stress sigma H. Since this soil element is in rest condition, no shear stress acting on the soil element. So sigma V principal stress, sigma H is also principal stress. By using these two stresses sigma V, sigma H on this soil element, prepare this Morse stress circle, first circle. The first circle is the Morse stress circle for the stresses acting on the soil element A. Sigma V is the major principal stress from this horizon up to this point B on x-axis. In the Morse stress circle, x-axis is called normal stress axis. In the Morse stress circle, y-axis is called the shear stress axis. So for this soil element A, prepare the Morse stress circle, that is this first circle. So from horizon up to this point B, it is the major principal stress sigma V. From horizon up to this point A, it is the minor principal stress sigma H. So OA is sigma H, OB is sigma V. Prepare this stress circle. This is called the Morse stress circle for this soil element A when the element A is in rest condition. So for the rest condition of the backfill, the first stress circle is the Morse stress circle. But we are discussing the active condition, not the rest condition. What is that active condition? Active condition is when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. Active condition is when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. This backfill is subjected to stretching. In that stretching condition, the backfill applies the horizontal stress on the retaining wall, that is called active horizontal stress. So please follow this carefully. When this retaining wall in in the active condition when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. The vertical stress remains constant. When the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill in the active condition. Dear students, please listen this carefully, very, very important. So far, we discussed the rest condition of this soil element and we prepare the Morse stress circle AB for the rest condition. That is a Morse stress circle 1. B is the vertical stress sigma V. A is the horizontal stress sigma H in the rest condition. Now we are coming to the active condition. In the active condition, the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. When the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, the vertical stress remains constant. No change in the vertical stress when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. But when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill is subjected to horizontal stretching. Because of the horizontal stretching, this sigma H gradually decreases. So, in the active condition, when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, sigma V is constant, but this horizontal sigma H gradually decreases. Now, please coming to the Morse stress circle. What happens to Morse stress circle when that sigma H gradually decreases? When sigma H is decreasing, what is that sigma H from horizon up to this point A? This length OA is sigma H. The length OA is sigma H. In the active condition, this sigma H is decreasing. When the sigma H is decreasing, the point A is approaching towards the horizon. Sigma H is decreasing, sigma V is constant. In the active condition, vertical stress is constant. Once sigma V is constant, no change in the point B on this diagram because the point B indicates the vertical stress. In this Morse stress circle diagram, OB is the vertical stress, point B is the vertical stress. In the active condition, vertical stress remains constant. So in this Morse stress circle, point B remains constant. But in the active condition, when the retaining wall moving away from the backfill is subjected to horizontal stretching. Due to that, sigma H gradually decreasing. When sigma H is gradually decreasing, the point A is moving towards the horizon. Assume that at a certain instant in the active condition, at a certain instant, retaining wall starts moving away from the backfill in the active condition. When the retaining wall starts moving slowly away from the backfill, sigma H gradually decreases. At a certain instant, let sigma H reaching the point A dash. From point A to point A dash, sigma H gradually decreasing. So this is the intermediate condition in the active situation. This is the intermediate condition. We know that when the retaining wall in the active condition moving away from the backfill, there is a horizontal stretching in the backfill. Due to that, the horizontal stress sigma H gradually decreases. When the sigma H decreases, the point A decreasing means decrease of length. Sigma H is from point O to point A. This is sigma H. When sigma H is decreasing, then this point A is slowly moving towards the horizon. At a certain instant in the active condition, let this stress sigma H is represented by OA dash. That is at a certain instant. After that also, after reaching this point A dash, again when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, still this sigma H gradually decreases. When sigma H gradually decreases, again this point A is moving towards the horizon. That point A reaches, point A dash reaches the point A double dash. So here the first Morse stress circle, that is first Morse stress circle is for the rest condition of the soil element. The second Morse stress circle, that is this A dash B. The second Mohr stress circle is at the beginning of the active condition. When the active condition starts initiated, when the active condition initiated, the retaining wall starts moving away from the backfill. When the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, sigma h gradually decreases. When sigma h gradually decreases, point A is moving towards the horizon O. Let the point A reaches this point A dash. Then for this sigma h at A dash and sigma V, we will get the second Mohr stress circle. Check out these two Mohr stress circles. These two Mohr stress circles are below the failure envelope. Just now I discussed, this is the failure envelope for the oceanless soil according to Morse Coulomb equation. This Morse stress envelope, this is the envelope for the Morse Coulomb equation. This is called failure envelope. This Morse stress circle 1 and Morse stress circle 2 both are lying below the failure envelope. So there is no failure in the backfill because the stresses in these two circles, the stress in the Morse first stress circle and also in the second stress circle, the stresses in the soil in these two stress circles is below the failure envelope. So in these two situations, the backfill is not in the failure condition. But when the retaining wall is further moving away from the backfill, this sigma h still decreases. When sigma h is still decreasing, point A dash is moving towards the horizon, reaches this A double dash. When this stress is at A double dash, sigma h is at A double dash, this is the third Morse stress circle. This third Morse stress circle is touching the failure envelope. When this Morse stress circle touching the failure envelope, then the backfill is under failure condition. So when the horizontal stress in the backfill is representing this point A double dash. First one is rest condition point A. First sigma h is rest condition point A. AB is the Morse first stress circle. Below the failure envelope, backfill is not failure. Second Morse stress circle, when sigma h is at A dash, this is OA dash. At the beginning of the active condition, at the beginning of the active condition, sigma h slightly decreases. So point A shifted to point A dash. Then we got this second Morse stress circle. The second Morse stress circle is also below the failure envelope. So the backfill is not in the failure. But if the retaining wall is further moving away from the backfill, when the retaining wall is further, madam. When the retaining wall is further moving away from the backfill, sigma h still decreases. At one stage, the sigma h is reaching the point A double dash. OA double dash is the sigma h value when the retaining wall is further moving away from the backfill. When this sigma h is at A double dash, we got this third Morse stress circle. Sigma V remains constant. Only sigma h gradually decreasing in the active condition. So from the first Morse stress circle, we got the second Morse stress circle in the beginning of the active condition. Then when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, sigma h again decreases. So we got this third Morse stress circle. This third Morse stress circle touches the failure envelope. Then this indicates the failure condition of the backfill in the active condition. This horizontal stress at A double dash point is called the active lateral earth pressure acting on the backfill when this entire backfill subjected to failure in that active condition. That is indicated by point A double dash in the Morse stress circle. So please look at this diagram, understand the rest condition, Morse stress circle 1, the beginning of the active condition, Morse stress circle 2, and when the earth pressure reaches the active earth pressure, that is when the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill, sigma h further decreases. At one stage, sigma h becomes minimum. That minimum sigma h is indicated by point A double dash. Because when this sigma h is reaching this A double dash point on the x-axis, the Morse stress circle touches the failure envelope. When the Morse stress circle touches the failure envelope, the backfill behind the retaining wall is under failure condition. That sigma h is called the active lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. So from this origin O to point A double dash, this is the minimum horizontal stress acting on the retaining wall in the active condition, that is called the active lateral earth pressure. So in this diagram, point A is the rest condition, because at point A, the horizontal stress is at rest horizontal stress. Point A dash is the beginning of the active condition. Sigma h slightly decreases, but point A double dash is the minimum value of the horizontal earth pressure in the backfill, that is called the active lateral earth pressure in the backfill. Okay, students, with this, I am going to stop the today's class. If you have any doubts in this Rankins earth pressure theory up to this point of the Morse stress circle, you please discuss with me. If you have any doubts in this Morse stress circle, you please discuss with me. So try to understand first this Morse stress circle concept. In this Rankins active earth pressure theory, first we consider the backfill is in rest condition. So please follow this earth pressure theory carefully. Rankins active earth pressure theory. In this Rankins active earth pressure theory, we consider the retaining wall of height h. The retaining wall is supporting the backfill. First we assume the retaining wall is in rest condition. So the backfill is also in rest condition. In that rest condition, we consider the soil element in the backfill. The soil element is subjected to two normal stresses. One is vertical normal stress sigma v. Next one is the horizontal normal stress sigma h. This is at rest horizontal earth pressure. Sigma v is equal to gamma into z. Sigma h is equal to k naught into sigma v. No shear stress acting on this element. So sigma v is the principal stress. Sigma h is also principal stress. In the rest condition, sigma v is major principal stress. Sigma h is the minor principal stress. Because in the rest condition, sigma h is less than sigma v. So sigma v is major principal stress. Sigma h is the minor principal stress. By using these two stresses, sigma h, sigma v, prepare the Morse stress circle in the rest condition. That is this first circle. The first circle is the Morse stress circle when the soil element is in the rest condition. Look at this first Morse stress circle. The first Morse stress circle is below the failure envelope. Just now we discussed in the portionless soil. According to Morse Coulomb equation, S is equal to tau is equal to sigma tan phi. We have this failure envelope for the portionless soil. This, the first Morse stress circle is below this failure envelope. So the soil, that is backfill, in the rest condition is in equilibrium, no failure. But in the active condition, the retaining wall is moving away from the backfill. When the retaining wall in the active condition moving away from the backfill, the vertical stress in that element remains constant. So point B is the vertical stress. Major principal stress remains constant, no change in the vertical stress. But when the retaining wall moving away from the backfill in the active condition, sigma h gradually decreases. The horizontal stress gradually decreases in the active condition. So when the sigma h decreases, sigma h is represented by point A. Point B represents the sigma V. Point A represents the sigma h. When sigma h decreases, point A is moving towards the left side, decreasing. Point A moving towards the left side. At the beginning of the active condition, sigma h slightly decreases. At the beginning of the active condition, sigma h slightly decreases. So point A coming to point A dash slightly decreases. Then by taking this point A dash and point B, prepare the second Mohr stress circle. When the sigma h slightly decreases in the beginning of the active condition, this sigma h starts decreasing. At the beginning of this active condition, sigma h slightly decreases. So the point A in the diagram is moving to point A dash, decreasing. Point A is the horizontal stress sigma h. Since sigma h is decreasing, point A moving towards the horizon, reaching this A dash. So when the stress in this element is at point A dash, when this sigma h in the element is at A dash, prepare the second Mohr stress circle by taking the sigma V on the element and sigma h at point A dash on the element. You will get this second Mohr stress circle. The second Mohr stress circle is also below the failure envelope. So the backfill is in equilibrium condition, no failure. But when this retaining wall is moving away from the backfill in the active condition, sigma h further decreases. At one stage, sigma h becomes minimum. At that minimum, sigma h point A is shifting to A dash because A represents the horizontal stress sigma h. In the active condition, when the sigma h becomes minimum, A is shifting to A double dash. Then by taking this A double dash and B, by taking the point A double dash and B, if I prepare this Mohr stress circle, the Mohr stress circle touches the failure envelope. When the Mohr stress circle touches the failure envelope, the backfill in the active condition is on the edge of failure. So when the Mohr stress circle, look at the diagram, that is the third Mohr stress circle. In the active condition, full active condition, the third Mohr stress circle touches the failure envelope. So the backfill in the active condition is on the edge of failure. Then the horizontal stress in this soil element at point A double dash. That is when the Mohr stress circle touches the failure envelope. The horizontal stress acting on the soil element at point A double dash is called the active lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining wall in the active condition PA. This PA indicates the active lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining wall in the active condition from horizon up to this point A double dash. This length is the minimum horizontal earth pressure in this soil element, that is called the active lateral earth pressure. Next class, we will discuss what is this value of OA double dash. That is this active lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. So please follow these Mohr stress circles. First stress circle in the rest condition. V is the sigma V, A is the sigma H. In the rest condition, sigma H is equal to K naught into sigma V. In the active condition, sigma when the sigma H touches the failure envelope, so the backfill is under failure condition. Then at the failure condition, the horizontal stress at point A double dash is called the active lateral earth pressure. Next class, I will explain the equation of this active lateral earth pressure acting on the retaining wall. Okay, students, with this, I am going to stop the today's class. You will continue this discussion in the next class. If you have any doubts, you please discuss with me. And if you don't have doubts, you can leave the class. If you have the doubts, you please discuss with me. If you don't have the doubts, you please leave the class.